2WheelsTV is powered by Broadlink, delivering serious bandwidth for serious business. Bellray Lubricants, flex your engine. And Bridgestone tyres for all makes of bikes. Welcome to the show. This week, Dave Petersen test rides the all-new Honda Africa Twin and later on, Thunderbike action from SWAT Cops. Hold on tight.
The other day I got a call from Doug Atchison at Honda Kyalami and asked me if I'd like to go out and test ride their brand new Honda CRF 1000L, otherwise known as the Africa Twin. This is the bike that has finally made its way to South Africa after a spectacular world launch where we saw some amazing images of the way this bike handled in the dirt. We'll never forget that time with Mark Marquez and his partner riding out through the mountains and doing some amazing stuff with the CRF 1000L. I'm not going to try and do that today because I don't really want to scratch Doug's pride and joy, the only demo bike at Honda Kyalami. So we're going to go out, just have a ride on the bike, see what it's like on the street, also see what it's like a little bit in the bush and give you some feedback on that. We do know that the design engineers back in Japan had a clean sheet of paper when designing the Africa Twin. They also had a clear design concept in mind. I think their desire was to create an uncomplicated and nimble adventure bike without too many frills and being rider friendly. The world's press has raved about this bike's surprisingly good off-road ability. We'll find out more about that later on. Riding on the street immediately indicates that Honda have avoided the horsepower war that has been raging in this market segment. With just on 100 horses on tap, it is not going to stretch your arms under acceleration, but it does spin up to 8,000 RPM very quickly. A combination of perfect gear ratios and a good linear power curve ensure a surprisingly good turn of speed. An indicated 205 km per hour on the digital clocks, to be precise. The parallel 4-stroke twin motor is fitted with an offset crankshaft firing order, which does replicate the torque process of a V-twin engine. Well, why not just plonk a 70-degree V-twin into it and be done with it? Well, Honda claim a parallel twin motor centralizes mass where it's supposed to be. We can't really argue with that when you look how effective the similarly designed inline 4-cylinder motors used by Yamaha in their devastatingly quick MotoGP bikes are. I think it has more to do with weight saving as well as manufacture costs. Either way, the 998cc Big Bang twin format works well. What I find quite strange is that the original adventure bike was actually made by Honda in Japan, and it was called the Africa Twin, funny enough, years and years ago. And then suddenly the adventure bike market became quite lucrative. And a number of manufacturers jumped in and really took over that market. And it's really strange that Honda have taken many years to make a comeback and build a new Africa Twin like this one. I kind of wonder why they missed out on that opportunity in the marketplace. One of the slimmest and lightest adventure bikes on the market. And it screams out quality. Honda never miss a trick when they make their bikes look good for the part. This bike is fitted with street tires, powered by that parallel twin 1000cc motor, the slickest gearbox on the market. At a standstill, you can find neutral at any time, and I like that about it. A steel frame, all up weight under 200 kilos, 20-litre fuel tank, you should see around 450 k's on the road. Huge radiators up front with fans fitted in case the bike runs a bit hot. Suspension is fully adjustable front and rear. Fairly soft from the factory. In fact, on the road, the front end does dive quite a bit. The rear, I would jack it up as well. Handlebar switchgear, a little bit strange, I think. Why have the horn button where it is and not the indicator button? I kept getting mixed up with that. Traction control settings, you can adjust this on the move. 0, 1, 2 and 3. We're using mainly 0. ABS brakes front and rear, but you can turn off the rear ABS by depressing the button on the dashboard. Comfort-wise, it is almost class-leading. The angular red seat has the perfect contours for long-distance stuff. The all-important pillion seat is also well-placed and comfortable. The rider's seat is height adjustable by 25 millimeters. Very little storage space under that seat. It's more for the owner's book and perhaps some tools. Well, it's time for a bit of dirt riding. And this is where the Honda Africa Twin does show its class. The 21-inch front wheel inspires a great deal of confidence. Deep sand and rough terrain aren't likely to cause any problems for this real dual-purpose machine. The problem with most adventure bikes, they're designed mainly with road use in mind. I think an adventure bike should be probably 60-40. The non-adjustable windscreen offers a decent amount of wind protection at the legal speed limit, but taller riders may find themselves crouching down behind the screen at higher speeds. Obviously in the dirt, you're not going to be doing that. They may also have to purchase the taller optional windscreen. While the dash layout is small and digital, it's packed with information which can be difficult to decipher on the move. Although I do love the large gear indicator right in the center of the clocks. Why don't all bikes have a decent gear indicator? I like to know which gear I'm in at all times. Speaking of gears, Honda do offer their well-known DCT transmission on this model, which basically means it has an auto transmission. More expensive, and I think takes a bit of getting used to. We're on the manual version, and it offers just about the slickest gear change I've experienced. And it certainly has a gear for every occasion. Suspension, soft, but soaks up the bumps in the rough stuff. I wouldn't be playing too much with it here, but out on the road, certainly would harden the front and the rear. The exhaust silencer keeps it very quiet out there on the trail, and I like that. A lot of riders say, ooh, they're going to put an aftermarket pipe on. I say, what for? So the Honda really comes into its own in the rough stuff. And I think that's what the design engineers set out to do. Make a bike that is really good in the dirt as well as being good on the road. And I really do believe this model is going to shake up the adventure bike market in this part of the world. So I've really enjoyed my time out with the Honda Africa Twin. This is the base model, so it's the cheapest version of the bike. Not sure if I'd even like to ride the more expensive version, to be quite honest, because I quite like riding in the dirt. And you don't want to bend a bike that costs so much more. So for me, the base model works really, really well. My only regret with this bike right now is that I have to take it back to Honda Kyalami and give it back to them. I'd love to hang on to this one just for maybe a couple of years.